Projects. I got a pair of these 15s. They're kind of a wide mouth version. They use M8s, which is kind of odd. These are from Majestic, and I think they use the Rockford Power HX2 4-inch coil. So, but I have a pair of them. If somebody wants me to build them out as like single twos, I can do that. I'd probably do it for $500 for the pair. That seems reasonable. I did want to show you this. This is from Rusty over at DC. This is his work. I think this is a pitted finish. You can see here where the epoxy was. They just used the... last time I checked, Rusty or DC doesn't make the motors in-house. I think he does have a magnetizer just in case of emergency or, you know, whatever. Because I think he ran into the emergency with the... it was the San Francisco Bay... Yeah, San Francisco Bay workers strike. And they had a bunch of stuff on the boats that wasn't getting released. And so, but anyways, this top plate seems like it has been, I don't want to say sandblasted, but it seems like it was a cast finish. Maybe that's for extra grab, but the grab did not work because it's plated. It ends up getting plated. I like to grind past the finish because again, this is sort of a all-in situation, because some people are like, oh, it's going to rust. It's like, if it's bonded to the epoxy, it doesn't matter. Like, the only way it's going to rust is if you submerge it, and it shouldn't be there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I like to grind here, and that's one of the arguments that I have with a lot of the Chinese vendors is they don't want to grind at all. Because they're like, oh, we're going to charge you more for this, and I was like, oh, well, let me do assembly, or let me, you know, right now the samples that I have, they're being flown in, are not magnetized. That also helps with customs and things like that. On large scale, like for say lower to base, you want to make sure everything's already magnetized. You don't want to have to go through and process all that shit when you get it undone, because you can ship stuff right away. But I wanted to show you this. I think level 4. I think it's a level 3. I don't think it's a level 4, but you never know. I don't really study his work. Looks like a pretty standard 15 millimeter top plate. And then here is the top plate. Failure, I think, is probably a little bit of heat, maybe some age. I just don't think it had enough epoxy on it. That's my opinion. Whatever, it happens though. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and grind this with a older grinding wheel, just because the ferrite is really hard, and so it dulls the carbide bits that I use. I use the 36 grit generic 3M knockoff for my grinding work. That's the back, triple stack, triple 3/4 inch. But we'll put this thing back together, and then I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna use the GONZO cone on it. So I wanted to update on this. So this one is it's curing still. It usually needs about 24 hours to fully cure, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is use some show you that. Put some yarn in there, just down like a couple millimeter, and then put epoxy in there to fill that gap, because like I was telling you, if you bang it like that, it can make it come undone. And so if you put something in there to kind of strengthen that and also bond to that ferrite, it should be on there forever. And then because the top actually just goes to the top of the magnet, so I don't want to even be flush with that. I want to actually go down below. Like I said, I'll tuck it down about a couple of millimeter, and the yarn should keep it from dripping all the way in, and because I just wanted to bond near the top. So somebody had sent me in some what is that? It's Fi and DC. I thought that was interesting. I think that's actually a level 4. Maybe it's an XL. I think version 1 of the XL was 3-inch, and then he moved to a 3.5-inch, if I remember right. I can't remember. Fuck. So I got a little jizz around the butthole. I like to fill these in with epoxy, and it works like a sort of a bolt to keep from fractures in between layers, and it also helps with a little bit of bonding to the top plate. This one is actually cured. So I just did 2 slugs, which are they're actually 7/8. They're not quite 1 inch. because I think on this one it uses, where's the small one? It uses this top plate, which is looks like on the gap it's actually about 20 millimeter. So see, that's about where it should sit. You just have a little bit raised, so in case it comes all the way out, and then you just use a normal 40 or 50 millimeter wine height coil. So, and that is fine. And then, like I said, this is the DC, pretty heavy duty top plate, which again is just good for heat absorption, for abuse. It's funny, I remember listening to some guy criticize me and my engineering choices, and he was of course an engineering student, so he knows everything, and he was designing it for efficiency, and I said, well, it's gonna fail. And he's like, no, it's not. I modeled this up and this is the most efficient, blah 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, but humans are gonna use it. Humans don't really use things in the most efficient way. Sometimes they just abuse the shit out of them. And so that's one of the reasons why you need a really thick top plate. It's so that it doesn't saturate with heat and then kill the bond here. Because if it kills the bond there, then it shifts. So in this case, this one actually cracked. I think somebody dropped it and it broke, and then I just prepped both sides. I'm gonna actually spray paint this black, both sides. Even the sides, doesn't matter. And then I think this whole thing is only $100 shipped. Yeah. So I replaced the ferrite for $100, and then I'll ship it back to them. Same thing with this one. So if you guys get these for free, that's fine. Send them in. I like working on them because I just work on them part-time. Typically when I'm speaker building, I have several projects over on this section that require some epoxy. And then what happens is after I'm done shooting my hot load over there, I usually have some extra epoxy. And so that's when I come over here and I shoot hot loads on these guys. And oh, let me show you these. Come around. So I got it. These are all ready to go. I just got to go back and grind. Oops, sorry. I got to go back and grind the tops. Just sometimes there's drips or whatever. And then I got some of the top plates for them. So I'm just gonna go with that. There was that one that I made with the thick top plate, but it ended up being indented, and I'm not a big fan of that one. So maybe I'll keep it for something, but I don't know. I just want to get these done so that I can put them in storage and not have to worry about them anymore. And it's basically like money in the bank. So I can sell the motors on their own, or I can sell them built out or whatever, sell them as kits and things like that. So this is a ugly Cylon. Probably be one of the last Cylons that I built for a long time because my machine shop is really, really busy, and it's important that I kind of grow up and start making the transition to importing. Anyway, like I said, that's why I have the samples coming. So, but that's these projects. Let me do a little bit of work and then I'll do another video. Love you.